So a lot of these companies talk about dual tank or single tank. Have you seen, basically that on the different sites, as part of the features? Well, if you haven't seen it, go on there and read a few brands. So do a little bit of homework. Just look at the different features. You notice that first off, a lot of the newer generation, let's just say in the last 15, 20 years, okay, come standard with two tanks. Now some companies may call them dual tanks, they'll have different terms, right? And some of those terms are trademarked. Okay, and some of the more original design, which are still sold today, have a single tank. Okay, now I want to clear up some discrepancies, and it's probably not the right word for it, but it's marketing, giving marketing terminology, or giving people the impression that having something that is two tanks or dual tanks is superior to having something that's a single tank. And single tank design, yes, is an older design. It's more traditional. The first steamer ever, 60 years ago, had a single tank, okay? But what they don't tell you is in those single tanks, very often they're called split level. They have a split level inside of them. And so by having a split tank in one tank, but it's split tank, it's pretty much going to be able to do the exact same things that having two tanks can do, okay? So when two tanks came along, the main reason that it came along was because some of these different steam generator brands out there, these companies, simply wanted to change the hardware of the equipment so that they could appear to be different. They could appear to have something new and improved, okay? Now all sorts of product categories do this. So they did it also, of course, in the steam industry, and people bought it, literally. They accepted it and, thought that it was better. So there's a lot of confusion there. This is not technically true. Another area of confusion is that in order to have continuous steam, that the steam's always coming out, that it's always able to adjust the temperature, that it's always able to draw back some of its power output based on the temperature in there. All those kind of interesting functions. Some of these companies try to give the impression that having two tanks goes hand in hand with being able to have some of these other functions and features. And the way that they frame their marketing, their content, it appears to be that way. But this is not true again. A lot of those nice features, again, can be done with the traditional one-tank design. So if you have any more questions about that, and keep in mind that some of these companies, by the way, will charge you more for having two tanks versus one. Not all of them, okay? But some of them will, because it's literally, they should charge, I guess, a little bit more. It's additional material. It's additional things to put in there. It's also additional things that could go wrong, additional things that need to be cleaned. But just keep that in mind that you don't necessarily have to spend money on that extra.